Violas. So I'm going to be making a practice video for you this week for remote control, measures 22 to 42. And what we're going to be focusing on is just really going in deep, making sure everything is understood on a really good level. And you can use this video as an interactive practice guide just to kind of get an idea of where you're at. And to use it when you practice this week. So let's go through a couple of spots first, just to kind of talk them through a little bit. I want you to look at 22, the C sharp to D. I really want to make sure that you're stretching that high 3 as much as you can without making it a D, and then tucking your fourth finger right on top, right? Instead of having it a little bit lower, let's make sure they're really close together, okay? And then same idea for measure 27, where we have the, right? So your B stays in its position, but you want to bring, for the A sharp in the second beat of the measure, bring your 1 underneath. So, oops, that was the wrong string. Right? So make sure it's really close when you play it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, I just realized that you can't talk back to me. That's another thing. All right, so now let's talk about rhythm, okay? So the rhythm for this spot really isn't that bad. I think you would agree. So I think the only things that I would want you to watch out for are like measure 25, where you have the alternating 8th note on, 8th note off, like the beat and then the rest. Make sure you're not rushing those and making them too fast, because otherwise you get really off from the rest of the group, obviously. And then, let's see, for measure 34, look at that really quickly. I know it's a little confusing with the Mamma Mia stuff on top, but make sure that you're really focusing on being able to make a quick transition from the pizzicato and then the arco in the next beat. And then in that measure also, make sure you're really paying attention to your accidentals, okay? So enough talk, let's start playing now. Let's start at measure 22. We're gonna pluck and count, and let's try to make sure that we're aware of those meter changes, like the 2/4 measure in 23. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go from 22, plucking and counting at a slower tempo. Okay, I'm gonna give you a measure off, and then we're gonna play together, okay? So I'm gonna count off a measure for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are like the airbow parts. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna stop right there. Hopefully you were able to make it through. I know it sounds like I'm out of breath. It's kind of hard to count with the mask, but it's not an excuse. We're always counting, always processing. So now let's talk about some issues we might be having with the bow and just general location spots. So let's see. For measure 20, like the pick up to 24 and into 25, let's look at that for a second. It's piano, so obviously we're going to be quieter, and we're not going to be like, right, because that's a little bit too loud. That's Mozart, right? This is like the Mozart section, so it's going to be a little bit quieter and a lot lighter and bouncier. So what I would suggest doing there is going towards like your balance point, maybe. Yeah, go towards your balance point. So like around here, tilt your bow away from you like this, and just kind of like make it a little bit lighter and just fluffy. Like just imagine you're bouncing on clouds. I don't know. That sounds like a good analogy to me. So let's think bouncing on clouds. 2 and 3 and 4. Right? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. In measure 27, let's go there for a second. It's forte, very like rich and full tone that we want there. So let's think of how we want to do this. Let's do the rest. Go around here, like right at the frog, and go. Obviously, it's going to go faster, but you want to have the basis there where you're really like sinking in, getting a deep sound there. And then you go back to like the Mozart section in 29. So then you go from this. Right, so you have like so you get the idea. So let's go back. We're going to finish our counting steps. I just wanted to make you aware of some of those things. In measure 34 as well, make sure that you're being really careful about setting your bow for the arco. Right? So make sure you're really setting on. Let's go back to 22. We're going to do some hover bowing and counting this time. Or hover plucking, whatever is in your part, which is, we're starting with plucking. So let's go back to 22. Let's do some plucking and counting with the metronome. We're going to go slower still. In this video, I'm going to stay at slower tempos just so we can kind of get the ideas, and then you can raise the tempo yourself. So, I'm going to give you a full measure. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hit the air bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Good. So let's stop right there for a second. Let's kind of think about what that was. I stopped subdividing. That was my mistake. But I hope that when you're playing and you're practicing with this video, please add the subdivisions in, okay? Make sure you really understand where the beats lie, especially for the eighth note measure. I gave you the bass of each beat, so like the 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you add in the ands so that you're really understanding where they fall. One more bowing thing. At 36, it says marcato. And marcato is where you set your bow. So you really want to get a deep, rich sound, but you want to make sure that you're kind of like stopping your bow after each beat and you're getting ready to do the next one. So marcato means very marked. So we have to make sure we're really marking each beat by setting the bow up each time. A little bit of a crossover there, sorry. And the same idea in measure 40. Great, so now we are going to bow and count, because why not? Let's kind of put it all together. Perfect, let's put it all together. Let's do it. Great. So, starting at 22, let's bow and count. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. Okay, great. Sorry, I kind of messed up my counting a little bit at the end, but I think you understand where to go from there. Let's see. So when you're bowing and counting this, make sure you're really paying attention to adding your dynamics in. I could have done a better job myself, but really make sure that like you show some differentiation in the phrases and the contrasting. Other than that, I hope you're really able to follow along. Hopefully you are understanding this so far, and if you have any questions, ask them during your pullouts. I hope you were able to get through this very easily and that it has helped you a lot. So I'm signing off for now. Happy practicing, and Viola's rock, Viola power. Bye guys.